Have you guys ever sat around forever just waiting for parts to arrive and they never show up? Forget this. Let's go check on another project. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Jason.
Do you, that Austin Healey that you brought over here for Sean, like, I don't know. It's
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you know what he's done with that?
I don't think he's doing anything with it.
Okay.
He hates that thing.
Oh, okay. It was kind of weird because it's like he just like left it here and it's been here and.
Yeah, no, he absolutely despises that thing. I think it's so small. I think it's been backed into twice. But I know that he's so fed up with it. He was like, Chris, just try to get it out of here. And I think he's glad to have forgotten about it. That's because I asked him. I was like, I don't know, 2 years ago when I brought it over, I was like, dude, we got to do something with this. It's just sitting around.
Well, I remember seeing it sitting over to his shop for 2 or 3 years or
Before
something
I
like
knew
that.
him, it had already been there for like 2
Yeah.
years.
I think we can do something with it. So.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I'm just going to FaceTime Sean.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, what's going on, brother?
What's up, man?
I have a question for you. You know, we were looking around the lot and we noticed that Austin Healey's still here.
Yeah.
What are you doing with that thing?
I want nothing to do with that Austin Healey.
You don't want it?
No. To be honest with you, man, if you get it running, it's yours. And if you don't get it running, it's yours.
Awesome, man. Well, we're gonna try to get it running and see if we can't do something with it, man. I really appreciate it, Sean.
Cool, sounds good.
Awesome, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
See you, bro. Welcome back to Rebuild Rescue. Today, we have this 1960s, I think it's a 61 or 62 Austin Healey that we got for free. We're actually gonna fix it up and we're gonna give it to you guys for free.
Wait, for free?
For free. No, Corey, you can't win it though. You can't win it.
Man.
They can win it. You can't win it. So we're gonna get this thing. We're gonna try to get this thing started today, and we're gonna get it running. We're gonna get it driving, and then we're gonna rebuild it. We're gonna do some body work to it. We're gonna get some interior work. We're gonna get the mechanical work, and you guys have the chance to win this car for free. No strings attached. We're even gonna pay the taxes on this car. All you have to do is like the video, subscribe, share the video, and post in the comments, I want the Austin, and you're entered. Let's get at it. So let's take a look at this thing. The owner previously had it at a shop to get some engine work done to it. And while it was there getting the engine work, and this is years ago, a guy ran into it. He hit the fender, which cracked everything here. And then I guess he backed up and he ended up hitting it again back here in the quarter panel. So I've had a body shop, vehicle repair center for probably the last 26 years. So he gave this car to us for free. And my first thought was, can I give it to one of the viewers? So we're really excited about this project because we're gonna get it together. We'll fix that fender over there. We'll fix the paint. So you guys are gonna get to pick out what color this car gets repainted in. If we end up needing to redo the interior, you guys can pick how we do the interior. So basically, I really want to make this project our project and make this car what you guys think it should be. And then we're going to give it away, which is going to be so much fun. I can't wait to see one of you guys driving this thing around. Does this have a hood latch inside? All right, so that hood prop looks a little sketchy, so I'm gonna grab something else here that probably save the back of my head. There, that's much better. I don't know how many years this had been sitting or the history of it. Looks like something has been living in here. Sure, we're gonna find some interesting stuff. Looks like there's some old brown fuel in here. Looks like these carburetors are going to be questionable. So, really cool car. It looks like at one time this one might have been yellow. Check out the interior. Seats and everything seem to be in good shape. A little bit of corrosion. There's a little bit of mold starting, but everything looks pretty solid. The floor seems pretty solid. A little bit of surface rust. Got some vice grips for some of the controls. Let's see how many miles are on this thing. Looks like it has about 69,535 miles on it. Now the question is it the first time it's had 69,000 miles on it or the second time? It looks like everything in this interior will clean up really nice. And I'm not seeing a ton of rust, which is really surprising because these tops are notorious for leaking, and I guarantee this has sat outside for a number of years. It comes with a nice British pillow. Let's see what else we got here. Looks like we got a box of parts. Say it's the underside of a distributor. We got some valves, we got some valve guides, some springs. Looks like we got a broken valve guide. Possibly when the engine was worked on, the last thing that was done, you know, would have been maybe the distributor and the head. Maybe the head was redone. Let's look back here. See if we have anything else. Everything looks really solid. Now we got some blue back here. So I would say chances are the original color of this car was a blue, because I doubt somebody would have come, you know, when working on it over the years, would have decided they're going to paint the whole, you know, the interior under the carpet blue. These cars are pretty gutless. I think this one is like 40 or 50 horsepower, but the car barely weighs anything. I mean, you can push this thing around by yourself, no problem. Let's get in the trunk and see what's in here. You know, the stuff you find in here kind of tells a story about the car, and you know what problems you're going to run into. So we got brake fluid, so chances are it's got a brake issue. We got clutch fluid, so chances are it's got a clutch issue. The Restoring Sprites and Midget book, which is soaking wet. And then we have the owner's workshop, the Haynes workshop manual, and we have a couple magazines. And we have some mouse poop. It's on the gasket box here. Looks like we have one of the old carburetors. This has two carburetors on, and if I remember correctly, these things were known for having multiple different carburetor issues. So we're definitely going to be fixing that. Got some ignition wires. Oh, this is very cool. We have what looks like was the mouse house. I don't know how many years this has been sitting, but judging by all of this disgusting mess, it's been a number of years. And everything seems to be really solid in here. I don't see any rust holes or anything like that. All right, well, let's get back under the hood and let's get some juice to this thing and let's see if it starts. Looks like the battery is probably 10 years old, so I highly doubt it. Now, if any of you guys have ever been in one of these cars, I'm 6 foot tall and I'm probably about 225 pounds. So I really don't think this car was made for me.
Roadster.
But I do fit in it, kind of. All right, yeah, there's no juice, which I kind of expected, you know, something sitting out so long. A little 4-speed short throw shifter in here. Once you're in, it's pretty comfy. Let me see if this is a 12-volt system or if it's a 6-volt. That is a 12-volt battery. Let's run in the shop and we'll see if we have any batteries in there, and we'll grab a jumper pack, get it powered up, and see if we can't turn it over. I just picked these tires up the other day for another project that we're gonna have here in a couple months probably, but I couldn't pass up some brand new 58-inch huge military tires. I have an old International truck I've been thinking about building that these are gonna go on. It'll be a really cool project you guys are gonna have to see. All right, let's see if we have a jumper pack over here. Oh, it looks like we have a battery too. Are we using this battery for anything? No? Awesome. I'm stealing this. I'll bring it back. So we had this battery sitting in the shop, and I'm not sure if someone was going to use it for something else, but we'll see if we can fit it in here. I kind of doubt it'll fit, but we'll see. So, will this fit? No, that won't fit. All right. Well, at least it turns over. If we look down here at the fuel filter, there's no fuel in it. So I think it'll be best if we go get some fresh fuel for it, go get a new battery, so we don't have to keep messing around with all these jumper cables and jumper boxes and stuff. But I think meanwhile, I'm gonna get some penetrating fluid. I'm gonna spray down pretty much everything that we're gonna have to take out and check. You know, we know we're gonna have to pull the plugs, we're gonna have to check those, take a look into the cylinders. I already know that these are, I think it has dual Weber carburetors on, and they are known to have carburetor issues. It's like one of the #1 problems with these. I also know there's a ton of people out there that love these Weber carburetors. I mean, I've read it in forums and stuff like that. So chances are there's a few of you, especially you guys over in the UK where these come from, probably not know more about these than I ever will. You know, but these are, you know, it's just really cool, really simple setup. I mean, it's a really small 4-cylinder liquid cooled engine. You know, should be real simple to work on. So let's get some penetrating fluid on everything, and then we'll take off. We'll go grab a battery. We'll grab some fuel, and we'll get this thing running. I found that you might as well just loosen up everything that you can, because you never know which nut or bolt you're gonna have to take off. So I just like getting a good bit of the stuff on everything, which will also, even if you don't take it off, it'll help to keep it from corroding anyway. Let's check the oil and see what kind of oil we have in here. Could use changed, but it is full. So that's good. Let's see if the radiator's got any, see if we have any coolant in it. Gotta love the reservoir, the overflow bottle here. Completely custom. So it looks like we could use a little bit of coolant as well. I also noticed when I was inside that the brake pedal goes right to the floor. Yeah, so we're gonna have to get in there and check the brakes and see where the leak is before we drive it anywhere. All right, so we need a battery and we need antifreeze. All right.
I only have it with a one terminal configuration though.
So as we're looking at the batteries, I looked at the photo that I had on my phone and just realized that somebody put a red cable on the negative side as a ground to the firewall. So we're gonna get the right cable and make sure that doesn't happen again, which also probably means that we had the jumpers hooked up and we're likely turning the engine over backwards. So major mistake, gonna call myself out on that one. Yeah, so we'll get it fixed. So one of the things with old cars like this is you're going to have old gas in it. I mean, I could unhook the fuel tank, I could drain all the fuel out, but we're not going to do that today. Instead, I'm going to put a whole bunch of new fresh fuel in, and we're going to hope if it does have some old fuel, it kind of mixes in. Now this car already has a clear fuel filter on it, which like you have to put on if you're working with something older. Put a fuel filter on, get a good size one too, so if there's rust or any gunk coming out of the tank, you see it, because the last thing you want is a ton of grungy, rusty crap getting up in your carburetor and just clogging everything up. So get a clear filter on it so you can see what's going on. Get some fresh fuel in it. It'd probably be smarter to drain the fuel, but we're not going to do that today. We're just going to throw some fuel in here. Oh, all right. Well, all right. I think that should be enough fuel in it. So the fuel gauge doesn't work in there, so I figured we'd be able to fit all 5 gallons in there. I'm not sure how big the tank is on here, but it looks like it's full. So now that I have some gas on my feet, let's get the new battery in. All right, so gotta get this old battery out. We'll get the new battery in. As it turns out, when we're over at the parts store, I was looking at a picture of the battery that I took to make sure we got the right battery in it. And as I was looking at it, I realized that the cable here, it's a red cable. So you always think red's positive. Well, if you look, it's attached to the firewall. So someone took a red cable and used it as a ground. So when we hooked up the jumper pack, I just assumed there's a black cable on the left, there's a red cable on the right. So that's why I hooked it up. I didn't look at the markings on the battery, just because I figured, why would there be a red on the black and a black on the red? And anyway, as it turns out, we hooked up a battery with jumper cables and a jumper pack backwards and proceeded to turn this engine over backwards. So it's not one of my most brilliant moments, but whoever put those wires on backwards, if you're watching this, they go the other way around.
Anytime you're working with electronics and wires, don't mark anything and expect that you're going to remember it later. Be a man.
Whoever did that, let's not do that again. So hopefully having this thing hooked up and jumping backwards didn't end up frying anything. What we'll do, I was going to change these cables around, but what we'll end up doing is I think I'm going to take some tape, some black tape, and cover this red one up and the black one and put some red tape on it for now until we can put the right cables on. What looks like happened is from the positive lead down to the starter solenoid here is too long to use this short of a lead, so I think someone had put them that way just because they had the wrong leads. Again, hopefully it didn't mess anything up, but it could have. Actually, this thing here is clicking, whatever it is. Almost looks like a big relay, like a huge relay. It is a voltage regulator, actually. So I'm assuming if it's clicking after putting the battery on, it's probably the reason the battery was dead, and it probably needs serviced. You know, there's even a little note on here that says contacts to be cleaned prior to fitment on vehicle. Maybe that's for shipping or something, but we'll check the contacts on that. We'll clean those out.
Well, gas over here.
Oh, shoot. Oh, all right. So it looks like we got a leak. Good thing the fuel pump's working. I can hear it. I can hear it clicking. I'm assuming that's much like a garden tractor. It's just a low pressure fuel pump. Probably these hoses are all dry rotted for sitting for years. So they're all loose. One of the things I should have first done is tightened all of these up. We are getting fuel in the fuel filter here. One of the things I like to do is check past the filter. Yeah, so and it's running out. So we're good. So we're getting, oh, there it comes. So we're getting, now hopefully I can get it to shut off now. So we're getting fuel right up to the carburetor. Here's the fuel bowl, and then it has another piece that runs over to the other fuel bowl because we got a dual Weber carb on here. Let's see if we got any fuel coming out of the other side. Oh, all right, so we got fuel coming out of there for sure. I just got a face full. Probably not the professional way to check for fuel pressure, but it's effective. So I can hear the fuel pump going, so I'm wondering if like there's not a stuck relay, just keeping that thing on. Let me check on something here. I think we got to fix those hinges. So I believe these are made to turn the car on. So if somebody would have left this key in the on position and then put a battery on it, chances are the fuel pump may be running. We're just going to put them back in my pocket here. So I turned the ignition off. And it's not pumping anymore, you know, kind of the way that it should work. So our relay is not clicking, the fuel pump's not going. I think one of the things today is I've been working on this Austin. In the back of my head, I keep thinking about our 401 project. I'm so excited about that project, but we wanted to get this project started because I'm also really excited about giving this away to one of you guys. If we have opportunity to get back to you guys, if we have opportunity to give to charities or to give to people that don't even watch the channel, that's what we want to do. I really want to take you guys with us when we do it. That's the excitement I get. That's like the whole why of this channel. So I can't wait to get this thing done. I have no idea what color we're gonna paint it. Maybe you guys could put something down in the comments, what color should we make this? I mean, it looks like at one time, it is a nice color maroon, and the jams are all done in maroon and stuff like that, but it looks like there's some yellow parts on it. There was some blue parts on the interior. So what color should we make it? Should we strip this thing down completely and make it something wild? Should we make it more classic? What should we do? All right, so we have oil. Let's get some antifreeze in this. It probably holds, that radiator it's tiny. It's maybe 1 foot by 1 foot. This whole car is tiny. If you needed to buy a car that was gonna be like kind of a clown car, this is the one. It's so small, it's so lightweight, but also that makes it exciting because any horsepower you add to this thing, it should make it faster. One of the things I thought of when Sean first dropped this car off was we gotta pull this engine out and we gotta put like a GSXR 1300 in it or something, because I really think I could get it to fit. That would be, 200 horsepower, or heck, put a Hayabusa engine in here, 250 horsepower. Heck, just throw a turbo on it too and make it 400 horsepower. Right away, that's what I started thinking of. It'd be interesting to see what kind of condition this engine's in and see how it runs, because I mean, if it doesn't run, it might end up with a Hayabusa in it. So what do you guys think? Should it? I'm not even going to ask, because I already know what you guys are going to say. Next thing you know, we're going to be Hayabusa swapping an Austin Healey, and we have an airplane that we got to get flying yet, so I want to be careful with that. All right, well, I thought it would have less antifreeze in. It looks like it stopped off, so that's like a really good sign. The cap is definitely shot. There's like barely any spring left in it, so we'll get a new cap for it. I think we're gonna wanna replace this custom water bottle reservoir that has kind of like rusty, not antifreeze. I have no idea what that was, with like mud in the bottom of it. So probably just not the best overflow bottle that you could have. So we'll get that fixed. So we got oil, we got fluid, we have fuel, everything's getting up there. Let's pop these plugs out. Looks like it's running rich, but I don't see any corrosion or rust in there, so that's a good sign. But actually it's, if you look here, it's actually a little oil fouled too. So there is a little oil getting up into the spark plug there. You can see it on my finger. That's something that we're definitely gonna have to watch for, because maybe the head was redone, but it could have weak rings or something like that that might need replaced. I'm also gonna do one plug at a time, because there's been times in the past when I'd pull all the wires off and not know which way they went. So we'll do one at a time, and then that way we know we don't mix them up. This is a really small engine, so I'm only going to put a little bit in here. The nice thing about two-stroke oil is it's made to burn, and it has awesome lubrication. So it's great to use in any cylinder, or even assembling engines. Again, it's got some carbon and some oil on it. Could be that it sat for a long time and maybe someone fired it up a couple years ago after doing the head. Nice thing about working on this car compared to like the 401 engine is it's got 4 plugs instead of 12. If you haven't seen any of the 401 airplane videos, you have to check them out. It's been an adventure. We're so excited to get that flying again. We have a ton of work to do to it. We're so excited about it. Got some lubricant in all the cylinders. And there's something else that I realized. I got ahead of myself with putting all the fluid in and putting the plugs back in. One of the things you don't want to do is you don't want to put the plugs in when you have cylinders full of fluid, because you can hydraulic it, especially if you're on the compression stroke. So you should fill everything up, and then let it sit, and then turn the engine over and make sure everything loosens up. So I will put these spark plug wires in order across the engine, and I will pop out all of these plugs. We have all the plugs out. We have all kinds of lubricant down inside the cylinders. It's been sitting in there for a while. Let's turn this thing over. If you guys can watch, let's see if it spits all that stuff out. You know, let's also see if it turns over nice. Oh man, this thing really spun over nice. It actually spun over so nice, it shot stuff all over the place. So I think next time we'll probably put a rag or something around there to save the camera and to save everything else. But hey, at least now everything's rust proofed underneath here. So we'll get the plugs back in there. I know it doesn't have brakes because when I got in there, the pedal went right to the floor. So chances are we're gonna have to service the brake system. All right, let's see if this thing will start. See how much smoke comes out of the exhaust.
Water just shot out of the exhaust.
Did it?
Yeah.
What color is the water?
Not clear.
Looks like we got some water or something shooting out the exhaust. It doesn't smell like antifreeze, but it's definitely oily, whatever it is. All right, so I'm gonna put the jumper pack on here just to give it some more voltage. You know, even though you get a brand new battery from a parts store, it's hard to say if it's fully charged or not. I really have to mark those wires. That's the right way around. All right, let's turn this thing over. Well, that brand new battery is definitely low on juice. Check this choke cable. I got that unfrozen. We'll see if a little choke helps. Get this jumper box back on. All right, she's running. So, other than the couple gallons of water that came out of the exhaust for some reason, it seems to be running pretty good. So it does sound like it has a miss. You know, likely that the carbs are out of balance. You know, I've heard of different conversions where you take it from a dual carb setup and put a single carb on it, and it seems to be a little bit easier to tune. But I know there's some like die-hard dual carb fans, so I'm not sure which way we'll go about it. Like I said, I've even thought about sticking like some type of electronic fuel injection on it. But so the fuel gauge definitely isn't working because it is full. It looks like the oil pressure gauge is working. We got 80 psi, which is awesome. And it looks like the water temperature is starting to come up. Not sure what this button does, or pretty much any of these switches here. We'll have to figure that out. A real simple car to work on. It's kind of like a street legal go-kart. This is going to make a heck of a fun ride for somebody. I can't wait to get this redone and give it away, guys. All right, so it runs. It doesn't sound bad. Again, it has a miss in it. Likely the miss is going to be carburation. We'll have to check, ignition timing and stuff like that too, but it really does sound like carburation. I'm going to dig into the carburetors a little bit and figure out how to balance them and how to set them. So I know it has some different types of settings on, to get them balanced out. It doesn't have any brakes. There's like no pedal at all. So we'll add some fluid to it and we'll see if we can't get any brake pedal. Not sure what this one is. My thought is that has to be, I don't think this would have a hydraulic clutch in it. There's a little bit of fluid in there. I'm going to say it's got to be some kind of brake or clutch. So it's going to take hydraulic fluid. So let's put some in there and see what it does. So we have clutch fluid. Yeah, so it looks like it has two separate reservoir systems. It looks like it has one for the brakes here, and maybe this one's for the clutch. So it does have a hydraulic clutch, which back in the 1960s is actually really impressive. So this little reservoir here is for the clutch. It's full. It looks like it was, at least the top of it was replaced at some point. However, the brake reservoir here is all but empty and it has no brakes. So we'll run over into the shop and we'll grab some brake fluid. We'll see if we can't pump the brakes and get any brake pedal pressure. Likely we're gonna have to get it up in the air. We'll have to pull the wheels and tires off. We're gonna have to bleed all the brakes. And chances are we're gonna see a couple leaks along the way. All right, we'll walk in and grab some brake fluid. So we should have some fluid in here. Found some brake fluid. All right, so let's get some brake fluid in here. See if we can't get any pedal. Yeah, so it's getting no pedal. Might need a little penetrating fluid. I'm gonna pump that. Let me know if any fluid comes out of there. right, we got pedal. So I cracked open the line coming out of the master cylinder, and all of a sudden we have brake pedal now. I'm not sure how long that brake pedal is going to last. Can you go ahead and get over here and pump that brake real slowly, and I'll go over and check all the corners and see if we have any fluid coming out anywhere. Oh, I see the leak. The right front wheel is leaking brake fluid, so I would say it's either going to be one of the fittings is corroded out, or possibly even the brake cylinder is leaking. So we're going to have to get this right front wheel off and take a look at it and see if, see where it's leaking from. Get this thing. We'll take this wheel off and take a look in there. So yeah, I'll run and grab a jack. I'll be right back. Maybe there's a jack in the trunk that we can use. I forget if there was one back here. Yeah. All right, maybe we won't use this because I really don't want to die today. Oh, there's that brake fluid. Let me go get a jack that I feel a little better about using. So if amounts of rust are any indication of how much this thing has driven recently, I think this might tell a little bit of a story. I'm going to go ahead and give it some pedal, pump the brakes a bit, see where this is leaking. I'm afraid that it is coming from the caliper, and the caliper seal is bad. Actually almost positive. I'm really surprised this thing has, again, it's a 1960s car and it's got disc brakes. I don't know what's in the back. I'm kind of curious to see. I mean, does it have disc brakes in the back as well? Because it was like really till like late 60s, maybe early 70s until most American cars had disc brakes on them. And I mean, this is like the cutest little disc brake system as well. I mean, it's so tiny. I think my UTV has bigger brake system than this does. So yeah, I think the fluid's coming out right back here. So if you could keep an eye on there and let me know if that's where the fluid's coming out.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Where's it coming out at?
It looks like right out of the caliper.
Yeah.
Right on this one.
Got a good bit left yet. It's not like it's all running out that fast. Yeah, so it looks like the actual cylinders inside the caliper is what's leaking. So the seals inside the caliper are bad. We're gonna have to replace the caliper. I mean, it's probably smart. We're gonna have to just replace all the calipers just to make sure this is safe. I do actually, it's a really slow leak, and it's only leaking if I push real hard. So, what's the chances that this would at least make it for a short drive around the block or something, just to make sure it shifts and to make sure the clutch works and everything. All right, so we do have brake pressure. There is a small leak on that right front caliper. I'm not really worried about it, at least to take just a cruise around here. We can check out the synchros, we can check out the clutch, and just see if there's any other problems. Let's go for a drive. Ooh, that didn't work so well. Hey, all right. drives pretty good. It smells a little bit like gas in here, which is concerning. See if the brakes are gonna work. The brakes are working. I don't know how, if these transmissions are usually this loud, but this one definitely makes some humming noise in first gear. It seems to be running pretty good. All right, so we got it running. We got it driving. The brakes are actually working really well. I did bleed the system a little bit more, and they're really solid right now. I think that right front caliper might have even kind of sealed up a little bit. Sometimes those O-rings and the calipers can dry out, and you know, just getting some fresh fluid in there did it some good because the brakes are working really well. So I hope I don't regret this, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna drive it from this shop over to the hangar where we're gonna be working on this thing. It's about an hour and a half drive, so I'm a little worried if this thing will make it, but we're gonna go ahead and find out. Let's go. All right, so it looks like we have no speedometer. So the speedometer is not working, and the tachometer isn't working, and the fuel gauge isn't working. But as far as I can tell, the oil pressure gauge and the water temperature gauge is working. One of the things I'm noticing too is, you know, being that it's a 4-speed, it's like it hits top speed pretty quick. It's revving out pretty fast. So I don't know if they ever made a 5-speed for these or not, but if it was a 5-speed, it would definitely move along a little better. But it actually drives pretty good. You can tell it's been parked for, you know, a number of years without moving much because there's flat spots in the tires, and it's really wobbling and shaking all over the place. But yeah, it's pretty good driving little car. I'm excited to get working on it and, you know, get it sorted out a little bit more and give it away. So we're like a quarter of the way into the drive, and I got up on the highway, and I will have to admit, I wish I knew what kind of RPM it was turning, because with this little 4-speed and this little engine, I'm putting in my GPS, I'm doing 55, and it's probably all it has. And even at 55, it seems like I'm turning like 5,000 RPM, which I think red line is about 6,000. But she still drives along nice. It'd be nice to get some new tires on that weren't out around, that weren't bouncing all over the place. So we'll have to get some new tires on it. Maybe put something a little bit nicer on as well. All right, so we're about 30 minutes into the drive. Everything seems to be running really well. It still has a miss. I think that, like I said, the carburetors need to be balanced, or maybe just replaced or something. You know, but it's running pretty good. We did lose the headlights a little while back, so I'm gonna pull into this gas station and see if we can get these headlights fixed, figure out what's going on with them. So we do have one parking light. We have no headlights now, and that one's out. So kind of try to get in here, figure out how I can get into the wiring, see what's going on. Looks like we're gonna have to pop this grill out and get down in here and test some of the wires. All right, so I think I'm gonna take these things out, and then I believe this will pop out. Then I can test the wires up here, see if we get headlights. No, it sucks. I left my electrical kit over at the hangar. I looked at it too and I thought about it. I'm like, I won't need that. It ain't falling. These are the wires that are going to the headlights. They have these odd old corroded connectors on them. Like, I don't even see where there's any types of fuses or anything in this. I'm pretty sure this here is the fuse box. So, and it looks like there's two fuses. I'm gonna just start testing all the wires that I can and see if we do have any voltage getting anywhere. You see any headlights flicker or anything? No. All right, so I just ended up jumping some wires. Our parking light doesn't work, but I think we just gave our headlights some juice, and I think that may be enough to get to get home. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it starts right up now. Well, it looks like we have two really low beams and one high beam, or one low beam and one really low beam. We have a high beam on the left and we have nothing on the right, but we do got tail lights. We have enough of a high beam to see. I feel safe to get back on the road, and let's make it over to the hangar. All right, guys, so we're back here finally after a long day, back in the Rebuild Rescue hangar, here with the 401. We got the Austin back here safe and sound. We are going to be bringing some projects into the hangar to be able to work on it that maybe not airplane related, just because we love working here. I mean, this is such an awesome space and we're able to work here. So we are going to be making some more room in here. We are going to have some automotive, some motorcycles, some trucks, some boats, some everything projects throughout the months and years. Not to mention, of course, the 401. One other thing I wanted to mention, so it did take a while to get our sweatshirts and stuff, but our sweatshirts finally came in. So make sure you check out the merch store, grab some of these. It supports all the projects that we're doing. And remember, the whole idea of this channel is giving back. It's giving back to you. It's giving back to others. It's giving back to community. You know, you guys have helped build such a huge community and such an awesome community. I'm amazed by all of you. I'm amazed by your comments, how awesome you are, how much you've been willing to give for the 401 project, and how much you guys are behind us here. Now, don't forget, the Austin, we're gonna build this thing up. It's gonna get all new paint job. You guys gotta let me know, what should it look like? What should we do with it? It's a free contest. You know, it's a free giveaway. All you gotta do, subscribe, like the video, make sure you share this video with somebody, and post in the comments, I want the Austin. Thank you guys so much for coming along for this ride. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the Rebuild Rescue crew. Have a great day.